You are not going to believe what Susan Seaforth Hayes just did. And trust me, this is something nobody saw coming. The woman who has been on our television screens for more than 5 decades just proved to the entire world that age is truly nothing but a number. She stepped out looking absolutely stunning, completely bare on top, with nothing but pure confidence on display, and the photos have left everyone speechless. Now before your mind goes somewhere else, let me tell you exactly what happened, and please make sure you watch this video all the way to the end because what you are about to learn about this legendary woman is going to completely change the way you look at aging, beauty, and what it really means to own who you are. Susan Seaforth Hayes is not your ordinary actress. She is a living legend in every sense of the word. Born Susan Sebold in Oakland, California, she grew up right in the heart of Hollywood. Her mother, Elizabeth Harrower, was an actress and screenwriter, so the world of entertainment was in her blood from the very beginning. Susan did not wait around to figure out what she wanted to do with her life. She stepped onto a stage when she was just a little girl, and from that moment on, she never stopped performing. She appeared in some of the biggest television shows of her time, including The Fugitive, My Three Sons, Bonanza, Dragnet, and Perry Mason. She was everywhere, and every role she took on showed the world just how talented and fearless she truly was. But the role that made her a household name came when she was cast as Julie Olson on Days of Our Lives back in the late 1960s. She was actually the 4th actress to take on the part, but she was the one who made it unforgettable. Susan turned Julie into one of the most talked about characters in the entire history of daytime television. She brought fire, emotion, drama, and a kind of raw honesty to the role that audiences had never seen before. What started as a job on a soap opera turned into the defining chapter of her entire life. She has played that same character for over 5 decades now, and she is the only actress who has appeared on Days of Our Lives in every single decade the show has been on the air. Think about that for a moment. 7 decades. 1 woman. 1 role. That kind of dedication and longevity is something that may never be seen again in Hollywood. Now let us talk about the moment that made headlines and had everyone gasping. Susan Seaforth Hayes stepped out and posed for photos that showed her going completely topless. No high necklines, no cover-ups, no playing it safe. She bared her shoulders, her neckline, and her spirit in a way that radiated pure elegance and confidence. At her age, most people in the entertainment industry would shy away from something so bold, but not Susan. She has never been the kind of woman who plays by anyone else's rules. The photos were classy, beautiful, and absolutely breathtaking. They proved that beauty does not fade with time. It simply evolves into something deeper, something more powerful, and something far more inspiring. What makes this even more remarkable is that this is not the first time Susan has been asked to show some skin. Back in the early 1970s, when she was at the absolute peak of her fame on Days of Our Lives, she was reportedly offered $1 million to pose for Playboy magazine. $1 million. That was an enormous amount of money back then, and it would still be a huge sum today. But Susan turned it down without a second thought. She knew her worth, and she knew that her talent and her story were far more valuable than any magazine spread could ever be. That decision alone tells you everything you need to know about the kind of woman she is. She has always done things on her own terms, and these latest photos are no different. She chose to bear herself in a way that felt right to her, with grace and class, and the world cannot stop talking about it. Her personal life has been just as extraordinary as her career. When she met her co-star Bill Hayes on the set of Days of Our Lives, something magical happened both on screen and off. Their characters, Doug and Julie, fell madly in love, and so did Susan and Bill in real life. They got married in 1974 and stayed together for nearly 50 years until Bill passed away in 2024. Their love story was so powerful that it went far beyond the show itself. They became the very first super couple in the history of daytime television. In 1976, Susan and Bill made history by appearing together on the cover of Time magazine. They were the first and only daytime television actors to ever land on that cover. That is how big their impact was. They did not just entertain people. They changed the entire landscape of television. Even after losing the love of her life, Susan has continued to show incredible strength and grace. She has spoken openly about how much she misses Bill and how grateful she is for the life they built together. She still shows up to work, She still brings everything she has to her role as Julie, and she still inspires millions of people around the world every single day. Fans who have watched her for years often say that she has only become more beautiful with time, and after seeing these latest photos, it is hard to argue with that. Susan also received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Daytime Emmy Awards alongside her late husband Bill, a recognition of their enormous contribution to television. She has been nominated for the Daytime Emmy multiple times throughout her career, and she has won Fans' Choice Awards and industry honors that most actors can only dream of. But through all of it, she has remained down to earth, grateful, and deeply connected to the people who have followed her journey. What Susan Seaforth Hayes did by going topless in those photos was more than just a bold fashion choice. It was a statement. It was her way of telling the world that a woman does not become invisible just because she gets older. It was her way of saying that confidence, self-love, and elegance are things that only get stronger with time. In a world that constantly tries to push older women to the side, Susan stood up and said no. She reminded all of us that beauty comes from within, and it shines brightest when you are completely comfortable in your own skin. So if this story inspired you, if it made you see things a little differently, or if you just love hearing about incredible women who refuse to let the world define them, then do yourself a favor. Hit that like button right now, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message today, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss another story like this one. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about Susan Seaforth Hayes and the incredible legacy she continues to build every single day.